Whenever I hear any successful person speak about the road to success, they all seem to have different paths on how to be successful. Some say you need to buy more real estate. Most say you need to invest in yourself, especially if they're selling a program. Hey, some say you need to buy less lattes. Whatever their path to becoming wealthy and successful, they all seem to have different ideas. However, one thing they all agree upon is you need to give back to others in life for what you have achieved. As a young boy, I had a friend when my mother and I lived in a little apartment in Greenwich Village. One day, we were invited to go to a little concert in upstate New York called Woodstock. Yes, that Woodstock. There, we bonded as close friends and shared adventures, traveling all around the country. Most memorably, San Francisco and Los Angeles, where I've ended up living the rest of my life. However, when my friend was 10 years old, his mother, father, and my best friend were tragically killed by a drunk driver. I was devastated. I loved him dearly. He was like a brother I never had. I couldn't believe he was gone forever. After that, I was afraid to drive in a car. I cried painful tears, asking why him? What was the meaning of his death? After all he wanted was to tell everyone that the whole world would be better if we just planted more trees. During my sorrow, my grandmother Anita invited me to Baltimore. Together, we wrote poetry and created sculptures. And one day, she took me to Washington, D.C. on a trip. There, she showed me many things: the White House, the Capitol, the Washington Monument. However, what made most lasting impression on me was the Roosevelt Memorial and the statue of Eleanor. Looking up at her confidence, my grandmother read me these words: "When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die. When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die." Like a bolt of lightning, these words impacted me so much I stumbled backwards. And from that day forward, I made a promise to myself and to the memory of my friend, who always wanted to inspire people, whose willingness to help others, and that everything I would do would have some level of contribution. I have spent my life volunteering, working as an entrepreneur, and a great deal of time thinking about volunteers, what it means, what inspires and what makes a powerful volunteer. What are the benefits of volunteerism, and how it can help others and help you, your coworkers, and your business thrive and survive. I want to share with you what I've learned about creating a culture of service in your industry. I truly feel the only place you can learn about hope, kindness, and courage and compassion is when helping others. I recently started a company called the Preparedness Network that helps businesses organize and develop a corporate service culture. I utilize decades of experience working with organizations like the Red Cross, Jewish Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Los Angeles, Habitat for Humanity, local city governments, House of Worship, and trade organizations, among many others. You know, volunteering is not only paid through altruistic values. As a businessman, I have found significant values in volunteering. I volunteer in two ways. First is with trade organizations and other organizations that I work with in the sphere of my business. I contribute and give back and help create meaningful progress to their agendas. In doing this, I network and meet with many people. I develop friendships with suppliers and new clients. I've done more business through giving back than any advertising and social media marketing I have ever generated. For example, several colleagues asked me to collaborate on a book. After that book was published, it generated lots of business for me as people looked at me as an expert in the field. So even though it feels great to give and help others, it's also helped to grow your business, and the payment you will be creating a safe and healthy world is everlasting. The financial gains you receive by helping others will be priceless. Next, I volunteer with organizations like the Red Cross and Habitat for Humanity, local food banks, my city government. And when I volunteer with these organizations, it's generally for philanthropic purposes. But I always receive many other benefits. The first one is training. The American Red Cross invested lots of money in training their volunteers to help their humanitarian operations. I have received and learned many management, organization, and team skills. I have brought these skills back to my company and benefited from them. The second way I benefit when I work with organizations is the people I meet. Other people and volunteers sought me out and do business with me because we share a shared connection. I've also done business with the organizations that I volunteer for. In 2021, 64 million Americans volunteered over 8 billion hours of their time. If you decide to develop a corporate culture of service, you will need to focus in 4 areas. 1, look to build partnerships in the community. 2, you will need to build a team and someone lead by example. 3, it's imperative that you stay organized. And 4th, you will need to show appreciation to those involved. Let's dive a little bit more into these 4 pillars. The same benefits I receive also translate to employers. I encourage my employees to volunteer and give back and give extra special awards and bonuses for giving. Showing your team that you value their efforts and appreciate their gift of giving helps create a culture within your business. Consider how you recognize their sacrifice in your company's outreach, such as monthly and quarterly volunteer recognitions, your social media, and if you do newsletters, put it in your newsletter. Spend money encouraging your coworkers to work for other companies will benefit you in several other ways. First, it makes them happier employees. People who volunteer are more comfortable and they feel better about themselves. Volunteering relieves stress as it gives them a sense of self-accomplishment and self-worth. This is where you can create a volunteer champions. These are individuals who lead their efforts, who build the community involvement and develop committees to help facilitate volunteer activities and encourage others, members to give more effectively. Having a centralized location, a calendar for employees to use as a resource so it's easy for them to share information and keep employee engagement high. Knowing what opportunities are scheduled throughout the year helps everyone plan and yielding an increased participation rate. Volunteering leads to higher employee engagement and employees are more connected to your company. Employees also gain valuable work and life skills that would cost your company a lot of money to have an expert come in and teach them. Encouraging employees to give back also helps bring new opportunities to your business and into the company. When you promote a team member to volunteer with organizations they identify with, it builds your business as a positive branding image in the public. As a leader, you should consider developing a corporate culture of service. There are several ways that a service can show up in our day-to-day work. Consider calling a timeout on the office and take it out into the service community. Research has revealed that the younger generation wants to work for a company not only with a high potential, but a high purpose. They want to make as much difference to the profit margin as they do to the marginalized. As a result, service, doing something for someone other than yourself or your people, is something that many companies are beginning to explore, if not outright embrace. Building a culture of volunteering within your company will create better, safer work environments. While it may be challenging, it will be well worth your voluntary efforts. So I'm here to encourage you to build this into your business culture. By volunteering, your employees will be more exposed to new opportunities and more environments, and it'll bring back a new sense of purpose and motivation to your company. We've talked today about what inspired me to become a volunteer and the different ways that I volunteer and the benefits I have achieved. We've spoken about some of the ways that you can develop a service culture and how you can benefit from it. So far, you have happy employees, new exciting skills, new business opportunities, and your company's brand looks brighter. It's critical that your corporate volunteer plan must be tied to your corporate strategy. The final reason why it's essential you encourage your employees to give back and volunteer is because it's the 100% right thing to do. In parting, I'd like to ask you to do some research and how you can create this culture. If you need help, the Preparedness Network is here to support you in finding thousands of organizations for you to volunteer and help support a culture in your organization. Mahatma Gandhi said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. Namaste.